Hi, uh, this is Felix from Free Carlitos Productions. This is my first video ever, pretty much. I know that like four people are gonna see this, but if you're looking into the issue of Marvel and Netflix and Iron Man, Iron Fist, then this video is for you, directed to people who don't know what's going on with any of it, and people who maybe don't know where they stand with any of it. So yeah. So like I said, if this doesn't get a lot of views or whatever, I probably won't make videos like this again. But if it does, and people want to hear from me, by all means. But anyways, so I want to talk about Iron Fist and the new Netflix series that's going to be coming out probably in 2017. Which currently they haven't started production on, but they hired a showrunner and it's building a lot of traction. To tell you that. And you may have seen it on Twitter, the hashtag AA Iron Fist, which is hashtag American Asian Iron Fist, because what the fans want to see is a superhero of color. That's the big movement here, is that fans want to see an Asian American Iron Fist. Now that's the big part, is not that he's Asian American, but that he's of color. Now I'll get back to that later. But okay, to give you some background on Daniel Rand, Iron Fist, he was born. The character was born in the 70s, in the peak of this martial arts craze that took America. Or took Americans like this. It was like this huge thing back then. Martial arts was the Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan. It was the thing in the 70s. That's cool. Like, that's tight. What's it called? DC and Marvel wrote characters for that time period that were centered in martial arts, and that was their main thing, was martial arts, and that's their thing. That's cool. That's fine, but they were white characters. You know what I mean? So that was like, I mean, that made sense though, because it was the 70s, and everybody was white in the 70s. Like, every comic book character was white in the 70s. Like, I mean, sure, there was like, I'm sure there were black, like Luke Cage. Of course, like, there were some characters of color, but none who were protagonists like Spider-Man or Superman. They weren't making them black. They were making superheroes like Luke Cage black. Strong, bulky men who just beat people up and like weren't necessarily heroes. They were like heroes for hire, not like Spider-Man or Superman who just swung down to save people. No, they weren't black. They were white. Peter Parker, Clark Kent, you know what I mean? So, they were white guys. White guys, I mean, it makes sense, The majority of the kids reading these comic books are white kids. They want to... That's my dog. They want to read about characters that look like them, and sound like them, and talk like them. And that's what they want, I get it, it's marketing. But when I was little, I wanted a character that looked like me. You know what I mean? I wanted a character whose last name ended in a Z. I didn't want another white dude who is supposed to save people. I wanted a character who looks like this. Who has this color skin, who's brown and doesn't hide it or anything. And now, sure, we have some. I'm pretty sure Ghost Rider is now Hispanic, but they're not making movies about those characters. My best friend growing up was black. Well, there were no characters looking like him either. We were reading comics and like nobody looks like us. Why can't there be heroes? Why can't people like us save people like them? I'm still a kid. I'm 16, and I'm still wondering, like, my brother's having a baby, and it's like, I don't want that kid to be raised in a world where superheroes don't look like us, where we have to be saved by the white people, and I'm fine with white people. I'm not a white genocide or whatever. I don't care. I love like everything that Marvel's done with white characters. I love what they've done with like Captain America. I get it. He had to be white. There were no black people. They were gonna make the super soldier in the 40s. I get it. I really do. Iron Man, I love Robert Downey Jr., but he could have been black. Bruce Banner could have been black. Mark Ruffalo could have been black, but I love him as an actor. They could have replaced him with a black guy easily. Scarlett Johansson, I love her, but they could have made Natasha Romanoff like this black Russian woman who had that. Like, Hawkeye could have been black too. God, like, everybody's white, And it's not like they make all these little changes to these movies when they make them, and race is something that is a very small change, You can change somebody's race without changing the story at all. It's very easy, It's not difficult to change a character's race. In some cases, it actually deepens the story and makes it more, makes the plot thicker. Like with Iron Fist, it'd make more sense if he wasn't white, if he was a man of Asian descent. The character was born in a fictitious Eastern Asian country, where he was raised by Asian people, and he was this one white guy who had blonde hair and blue eyes and was rich, and learned karate from these ancient, like Chinese like deities, and it bothers me that out of all these Asian people in this community who were learning kung fu, who were learning martial arts, the one white guy was the chosen one. He was the one who was the best at martial arts. He's the one who left and gets to save people in America and everything, because he's the best at martial arts, and he happens to be white. Okay, that's not right. That ain't cool. That's not cool. But people are saying that it would make more sense to make the character Asian, and he would fit into the world a lot better, and he'd be Marvel's first leading Asian actor, Asian character in a movie or TV show, which we need. We need more diversity in the MCU. We really do. I'm not disagreeing with anybody there. What I'm disagreeing with is the idea that that he should be Asian because of one reason, and that's the stereotype. I mean, I don't even disagree with it necessarily. I agree. I think it would be great if he was Asian. I'm going to cut that last part out. I think, and here's why I think that he should be. Here's what I was saying earlier when I first started the video, is that people want an Asian person to play this role, but the main thing that I think that people are striding to see in the MCU is not necessarily an Asian character. It's just diversity, I mean, of course we want an Asian person to play the role of Iron Fist. Yeah, I agree. But then this brings us whole other issues where if the actor is Asian, it's like promoting this. It's like promoting the stereotype that Asians are only good with martial arts. Like, there's no Asian characters who aren't centered around martial arts. Spider-Man could be Asian, but no, because his main thing has to be martial arts. If he's going to be Asian, his main thing has to be martial arts. That is kind of like, okay, like that may be a little bit of a reason why it's not necessarily the best thing in the world to make him Asian, make this character in particular Asian, because I don't want it to seem like Asians are only good at martial arts. Do you know what I mean? So maybe a different character could be the first one that they make Asian. But because of that, I think that, anything that's not a white character is a win for diversity. Don't get me wrong. But I think that it's also pretty crucial to his story that he's an outsider, that he doesn't fit into the community. You know what I mean? That he is not like the other people. He's not Asian. You know what I mean? So because of that, yes, it might make more sense to make him a non-Eastern Asian person. But I don't want to see another white character in the MCU. I don't. I really don't. You know what I mean? I'm glad they made Elektra Asian and French and Hawaiian or something. I don't know what Elodie Young is, but she's not white. But I just don't want to see another white character focused in the MCU. I don't. I really don't. So because of that, I think a black Iron Fist would be awesome. But that might bring problems with him and Luke Cage, how they're supposed to be two separate races, and they're like best friends in the comics. So I think it's important that they're different races because there's a lot of just with Misty Knight and stuff too. There's a lot of like cultural differences that they have. So maybe in Middle Eastern Iron Fist, that'd be so cool. That'd be dope. Just like a character like that, just a little bit different, but different enough. You know what I mean? Or even like what's it called? A Mexican Iron Fist. You know what I mean? A Latino Iron Fist, but the thing it comes back to is that Danny Rand is a rich guy. He's a rich white guy, which is a big reason why Luke Cage and Misty Knight, that's a big part of their relationship. But I think that it could be overlooked that he's a white guy. I think that we could make him Asian and rich, and he would still have the same like character imbalances, and they could make the character maybe something else is distant about him, so he's not so he is still an outsider, because that's one of his main things is he's kind of reserved, he's an outsider. So I think for that reason that maybe Marvel could make him, maybe the MCU, Scott Buck could write him a little bit differently and make him like an outsider either way, because he's not from this community. He's from America and he's rich. He doesn't fit in with these people. He's an outsider no matter how you look at it. So he doesn't have to be white. He really doesn't to be an outsider. And okay, now to give you guys an update, if you don't want to maybe like, you don't want to look at this, you don't want to look it up or anything, you two don't have the time, I'll just go over it right now. Fans are still urging, fans are making this a big movement to make Iron Fist Asian. Fans are doing the most, you know what I mean? Fans are pushing this forward and forward and forward because they don't want to see another white superhero, and I could not agree more. But Marvel has said that they've interviewed with several Asian American actors, but now that Scott Buck is on the team, he's the new showrunner. He said from an unconfirmed, this is just rumors, but he said that they're leaning towards making the character white. And I found that out, or that was updated yesterday, and that's just a rumor, of course. I mean, Marvel's known for pulling it out of their ass really quickly and like shocking everybody with a result that'll make us happy, like Iron Fist. Like we were told that Iron Fist was cut out and that Punisher was going to take his role for the TV show in The Defenders, and Iron Fist would instead be converted to a film, a Netflix original film, which I was okay with, but I was kind of sad. No, they said, no, we are making the Iron Fist show. They said that they were not going to do it to build up anticipation for Jessica Jones, which was so mean, but it worked. People are more excited about Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones, fucking loved it. They did a good job of adding in diversity too, of course, with Jerry Hogarth becoming a woman, becoming a gay woman. That's fucking dope. That's awesome. Made it more real, made it a little bit more relatable. You know what I mean? Making Ben Urich black. Awesome. A character that doesn't need to be white. I think Foggy Nelson could have been played by an Indian man. I really do. I think that he should have been Indian. That doesn't really relate to anything. That's just my point of view. So, yeah, I guess that sums this video up. I've wanted to make this video for a long time. Since I found out that they were going to confirm the Iron Fist show, I wanted to make a video about the pros and cons of making Iron Fist a superhero of color. I suggest that you go on to Nerds of Color. I think that's what it's called. Nerds of Color has a lot of great articles about this. And I proudly am a nerd of color. So yeah, if you wanna read more about this, there's a ton of things on the internet. Twitter has a lot of things about it too. If you want to tweet at Scott Buck, tell him like, fucking asshole. But whatever you want to do, I mean, you can, yeah, like I'll make another video probably once there's more confirmed about this. But I just want to make this video right here so that people knew kind of what is going on with the whole thing. If nobody really is like reading about it online or anything, yeah, I just want to make this. So yeah, I don't know how to close the video. So.